Nat drinks and talks about stuff. Theme song. All right, this is take two because I was laughing too hard the first time. Uh, oh God. Okay, so tonight was not my plan to get drunk, and tonight was not my plan to do a Nat drink talks about stuff. But then Nat got drunk, and Nat was like, while you're in this state, let's do a video because it's been a while. Okay, so despite there's always stuff going on right now that I could talk about, but that's not what this one is about. This is about the time when I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and I was taken to see a dead body for the first time. You know, memories, you're a child. Memories don't really form until you're like 5 or whatever. So, but I remember when I was 3 and I had my tonsils taken out and I was in the hospital. So actually, my first memory ever, this is my first memory, my first memory ever is after the surgery. I don't remember the surgery. I don't remember things before. I don't remember like right after it or whatever. I've been told what happened then, but my first memory ever is lying in the hospital bed that night. My dad was there to spend the night with me, and he stole. I don't know. There was like a broken chair in the hallway of the hospital. My dad sees the broken chair, and he says, "This is what I'm sleeping on." And he takes the broken chair, and he just takes it, and now he's in the room with me, and nurses are in the hallway, and are like, "Where'd that chair go?" So then Dad comes out, and it's like, "Oh, I took the chair. I'm using it so I can spend the night uh, with my son who's like 3 years old and he just had his tonsils taken out. I'm spending the night with him, and so I took the broken chair, and the nurses are like, "Well, that's okay." That's like my first memory ever, and it's like as far as first memories go, it's actually not that bad. I don't remember the fact that my tonsils got taken out or whatever. I just like have this kind of like nice memory of my dad stealing something so he can spend the night with me. First memory. Second memory ever. We went to this church, and someone in the church who was old had cancer. It's not funny. He had cancer, and he was dying from cancer because it was the 80s, and it was just like you have cancer, so he was very old and he had cancer, and we were going to the hospital to visit him. I'm not sure why. I was like 5, and the whole family went to the hospital. It's sort of like hey, like, sucks you're dying of cancer thing. But back in, late 80s, 1990 tops, there were no cell phones. So you'd make plans and you'd have to follow through on the plans. So we had a plan to go to the hospital, be like, hey, sorry you're dying of cancer. But instead, so we make this plan and we get there and it's like, he died of cancer. So we get there too late, missed the whole sorry thing. So he's dead, and the wife's there, and the wife gives me here's all right. So here's second memory. Second memory ever is wife giving me a hug. I had experienced hugs at this point before. I was 5. Parents love you. They hug you. Other people hug you. Great. But the hug that I got from this woman who, within that hour, lost her husband of many years, was like the crazy. She just like, I was 5, and she just was like, hug. I need a hug right now. She gives me this crazy hug, and I'm 5, and I'm like, this is the craziest hug I've ever experienced in my life. She's just, fuck. My husband died, fuck. That kind of hug. And I'm 5, and I'm like, you're putting a lot of pressure on a 5-year-old to like reciprocate the husband just died hug. Like I have nothing. I'm small. I'm not really quite sure what death is, but I have to reciprocate a I'm sorry your husband died, hug. And she's just like this. I'm like, hey, hashtag it gets better. And she's like, what? And I was like, none of that makes sense to you right now. So, patting, hug, second memory ever. Third memory. One night had two very memorable moments. One is this hug. Number two, I'm 4 or 5. I don't know exactly. I'm sure I'd look up the exact when this happened. I'm 4 or 5 years old. Paul, who's older than me by 18 months, so he's like 5 or 6. He's not ready to see a dead body. I'm not ready to see a dead body. I don't remember being asked if I wanted to see a dead body. Nevertheless, by the way, it doesn't matter if I said, "Oh yeah, let's see this thing. Let's see what's going on in the other room back there." Regardless of if I'm asked and whatever my response is, it doesn't change the fact I'm like 4 or 5 years old. Doesn't matter what I say. There should be no question. Don't make me see a dead body. But Paul doesn't see the dead body. Mom doesn't see the dead body. Dad picks me up, because this is at the age I'm at. Dad picks me up, takes me into the room. This event of him passing away happened within the last hour. He died less than an hour later. A 4 or 5-year-old Nat was carried into the room to see dead body. I won't go into all the details. I will say that nothing was done in preparation for Nat seeing the dead body. It was like he died. Let's bring Nat in. Again, won't go into details. The details I think is worth mentioning is the fact that his mouth was open and it looked like he died screaming because of the pain, and then they brought me in to look at it. So I was carried in. I'm 4 or 5 years old. Fresh, super fresh, dead body is shown to me. My reaction at the time was like, oh, oof, that's a way to go. He didn't look well. He didn't look well, nor did I expect him to. But I also had never seen a dead body before. Did not see another dead body again for many years. The only time I saw a dead body where it's like, you see dead bodies and it's like people didn't know the dead body. Like, let's spruce this up. Add a little makeup. Spruce him up a little bit. Death is horrifying. All the other times since then, cleaned up bodies. This time, little Nat, 4 or 5 years old. Let's just go raw, dead body. That's what I saw. So, and I will say that I don't feel that this in any way affected me, changed who I was up here. It didn't make me a killer or anything like that, which will sometimes happen. It was just one of those things that happened, and it was like, oh shit. And then you get older, you're like, yeah, this is the thing that happened. And then you get older, and it came up casually in conversation the other night, and it's one of those things. How many things from your childhood did you not think were strange at the time, and you're perfectly accepted because your parents treated it as a normal, acceptable thing, and then you become an adult and you get to think about things on your own, and then you look back at something from your childhood and you're like, ooh, that's supposed to happen. So the other night we're having this. I don't even know how it came up, but the conversation came up about me seeing this dead body when I was 4 or 5 years old, and it's like, how did that come about? I see my mom. I say, Mom, I'm fine, sort of. I'm fine. This thing didn't really fuck me up that much. But let's talk about the fact that when I was 4 or 5 years old, I was brought in to see a dead body. And she's like, well, she's like, I don't think I was asked about it. She's like, I don't think that I decided that you should go see a dead body. She's like, I don't think I saw it. I said, trust me. If you had seen the dead body, you would remember seeing this dead body. It was awful. So she did not see it. My brother did not see it. So the question remains: why was I brought in to see a dead body? And she's like, well, I don't know. And I was like, and she's like, she goes, admittedly, she goes, admittedly, she's like, some mistakes were made when raising you, and it's like, well, yes. And she was like, all parents, realize that they've made mistakes. And I was like, and I totally agree with that. All parents are going to be like, we made mistakes in raising you. Totally agree with that. But, like, how many parents brought their very small child to see a dead body? I think it was just me. And the worst part is that I don't think that it really affected me that much. Other things that they did affected me so much more than the seeing of the dead body. So as far as the mistakes that were made by parents, which you will admit to, dead body, not even that high on the list compared to other stuff. That's the craziest thing about it. So that's just a story of the first time I saw a dead body. I was 4 or 5 years old, very small person, carried in, mouth open, died, screaming in pain, brought me in. That is my story. So, why did it happen? I don't know, but it did. So, that's my story for tonight. And I'm sure I'll be posting another one soon because I'm turning 30 soon, and I feel like that's worth a video talking about my thoughts on turning 30. But that's still a couple weeks away, so let's not even think about that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna finish this up and just lie down in bed and try not to think about the dead body that I saw when I was a little kid. Hopefully, no nightmares about that one. So, this is another episode. Hatchings talks about stuff. Copyright. I've been doing this for I've been doing this for kind of a long time. Nat Drinks talks about stuff. Thanks.